I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Howard Hartenbaum. He is a venture capitalist at August Capital, and Howard is also on the Forbes Midas list of venture capitalists, so clearly he has a knack for picking smart entrepreneurs. And maybe you don't have to teach these entrepreneurs or give them any advice, but you know, when you're a VC, sometimes, as we said earlier, you're married to your entrepreneurs, so you're watching every move they make.
Yeah.
So you've learned a lot from working with a lot of entrepreneurs. So for the entrepreneurs in the Vader community, give us 3 pieces of advice.
3 pieces of advice. So first of all, in the process of starting a company, there's typically more than one founder involved. And every now and then, company gets going, they get financed, and then there's some disagreement that's going on between one or more of the founders, which becomes a huge mess. It becomes a mess for the founders, for the investors, for the board, for the employees of the company who are watching it happen. I would say advice number 1 is be as sure as you are about, I was of my wife when we got married, that she was the woman for me. And when you pick a founder that you know that he or she or they are the right people that you want to work with, don't recruit them off of Craigslist, get funding 3 weeks later, and then find out that you have no...
or grab your drinking buddy.
Yeah, even in many cases that's even worse, because it's somebody you know and trust, and you find out that you're good friends, but you're not good business partners. So make sure you really work well. The best founders tend to be people who have worked together before at a company, directly working together before, as opposed to at different companies. Hey, let's start a company, and you may have known each other for a long time. So pick your partners.
Is that
carefully.
a red flag when you see people come together and they say, well, you know, we've been friends for 2 years, we've never worked with each other, but...
So a little bit, you know, there's the ideal world of 3 people who come out of a company working together for years on a problem, and now they're addressing that problem again. That's not all that common, but people having worked together for a few years, I think, is a pretty important piece. And every now and then we, fund people who haven't, and things work, or sometimes they don't work. And they put together the dream team, and then they found out the dream team can't work together. So that would be one. The second piece of advice would be, when you're in the process of raising money for your company, find yourself, if you're inexperienced at raising money and you don't understand completely how venture capital works, find yourself an advisor for the process of doing it. When I was a CEO of a young software company, I got a guy named Rick Miley, who was a co-founder of Global Village, which was backed by Sequoia and then taken public, to be my mentor in the process. And he had gone from being a founder or co-founder of a business to taking the company public, and he wasn't the CEO, but he had the experience of the entire time, so he could teach me what do VCs think, what's the process, how does it work, what they're looking for, what is the relationship like. And I think for me it was very valuable that he wasn't like pro-VC or anti-VC. He was just very matter-of-fact, like, here's what they're thinking, here's what their motivations are, here's why they want to structure the board to be, a balanced board for good corporate governance, here's why they're asking for this, here's what they're saying. One of the big challenges I see is many entrepreneurs will find an advisor who, it's usually somebody who has
an ideology or something.
An ideology that's fairly negative towards venture capital, and that's very common. That's from a very bad experience that they had with one or more venture capitalists. And so if you think about working with somebody like a venture capitalist for several years, you want to make sure that you understand them, they understand you, but also that you think you can work together on a positive basis. So if you have somebody coaching you like, oh, VCs are all evil, and here's how you make sure you remain in control, and here's how you protect yourself because they're going to try and get you. And if you start with that type of attitude, you're pretty much doomed to have a bad relationship with your ultimate investors in the company. So sort of like I'll bring my wife back in. If I didn't trust her when I got married to her, it would not be a good marriage.
You don't start with trust,
You got to start with, I like this person, I want to spend my next, my life or my next few years working with them, meeting with them on the board, being open, being honest, not trying to maintain, control or positions or anything like that. And third of all, when you're building a company, you have wild-eyed, optimistic idealism, and you imagine how great everything could go. You close your eyes and you imagine yourself, 4 years from now, we'll be ringing the bell at NASDAQ, and we'll be this great company, and how wonderful everything is. But it never goes that easily.
Yeah.
And things do get very tough along the way. And you need to really kind of reflect on yourself when things get tough, that's just part of the process that we have here, and not try and point fingers and point blame and say, well, the VC made me do this, or I shouldn't have taken your advice on this, or something rather. Pointing blame doesn't help. You're now in the business together with somebody. You're just trying to solve the problems and figure out what to do.
Right, right.
So,
but what I'm hearing from that is to enjoy the process as opposed to the end
yeah.
goal. It is a process, like a marriage. I don't know what the end goal. There is no end goal, right? The process is.
Well, it's life, right? Life isn't
Yeah.
about the destination. It's about the path. The destination of life is death.
Okay.
So
That's
why
great.
focus on death?
That is a great way to end it. That's a really good. So don't focus on the destination. Focus on the path.
Yeah.
I guess keep the destination ahead of you,
Yeah.
but really focus and experience
Yeah.
the path. So thanks for that advice,
Okay,
Howard.
great.
I've been speaking with Howard Hartenbaum. He's a VC at August Capital. I'm Bambi Francisco.